This is what happens when Twisted Metal meets Ghostbusters. This is an awesome model by Puppets War, and I'm going to get ready and 3D print this thing. Now I threw it in Chitubox Pro, and I did scale it up to 150% because it was looking a little small for what I wanted, and it was going to run me about 9.5 hours to print. Now I'm going to be using my Phrozen Mighty 4K. Now, I talk about this printer a lot, and I love it because it's got a big build plate, but what I really need to say here is this thing is super consistent. I think I might have leveled this thing once in the past 2 years. It always produces amazing results, whether it's big or small prints, and anytime I need to get a project done, I go straight to this printer first. So I'm going to link it below. I really recommend you guys check out the Mighty series. They're amazing printers. Again, this print came out absolutely flawless on this printer with the 4K resin. Took 2 prints here because I had a bunch of extra parts. Then I popped it off the supports. Cleaned it up with some 95% alcohol. Cured them for about 5 minutes and got ready to assemble. Removed a couple of the extra supports that were still sticking around, and then used a little bit of Gorilla Glue gel to stick these things together. Then I hit it with some primer. As you can see here, it came out really cool, and this is based on an orc theme for some proxies for Warhammer 40k, but it's really got that Twisted Metal vibes. Yet again, the Phrozen Sonic Mighty 4K did a phenomenal job with the prints. Now that it's all primed up, I'm going to bust out my Gaahleiri Air Brushes. We're going to go ahead and start painting it. I've been using these brushes now for like almost a year, and I got to say they're amazing. This one is less than $100. You cannot beat the bang for your buck. I'm going to link it all in the description below. So I used some very controlled sprays out of the Gaahleiri Air Brush with some black and some white to lay down some shadows and highs. Just concentrating on anywhere that the model would cast shadows or highlights. Once this was done, I used some mummy robes and gave a really watered down coat over the entire car to really produce that really nice finish that you see here. Then it was time to pick out some details, and I pretty much used some contrast paints here to allow those undertones to work for me. Of course, I had to use some yellow on the cylinders on the side of the Ecto 1 here, or Orcto 1, like Puppet War's got it called. A little bit of black to kind of paint in all these cables. I really like how the grill came out with this contrast black paint, looking real sharp. Now I picked out all the straps with this like camel green color. There was a lot of metallic parts on this, so I took a little while here and painted up every single thing in this like cold steel color. And I'm planning on weathering this down with 2 steps. The first step is going to be a heavy wash in some earth shade. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply some rust pigments. Then I also added a little bit of gold just to make this thing pop a little more. A little bit of copper on the metal around the windows. Here's the big wash with Earthshade, and then some oxide technical paint to wash down all the copper bits. Here's the rust pigments. Now I like to use this, mix it with a little bit of alcohol, then it sets and dries nice and heavy on the metal parts, as you can see here. You can always go back in and dry brush a little more silver on it just to kind of make the rust looking more weathered, make it pop a little more too, which is what I did. When it was all painted, I hit it with some matte varnish to protect the clear coat and also to make sure the rust pigments don't bleed through. Then I grabbed a Mini by Puppets War, threw it in Blender, and decided to make a little ghost out of it, a little ghost Space Marine. So I just dragged it using some sculpt tools here until I had this like spooky looking look to it. Printed it out, again, another perfect print. Quick paint job with some washes and dry brushing. Made a base. This is facility D20 where we're always making cool stuff, and now that everything is painted, it's time to wire up some LEDs so we can really bust some heads, in the spiritual sense of course. First thing I did was add a little toggle switch in the back here. I had this light pole mini that I cut up and used the wiring and the tubing. Soldered my lights together, drilled a hole and pulled it through the turret. Drilled another hole and pulled that straight through the car. Glued everything to the base, pulled all the wires through the bottom of it, glued the little Space Marine ghost on that pole. Fed those wires through and glued it upright. Then it was only a matter of gluing up the wiring and cleaning everything up to the batteries on the back side. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It looks amazing in person. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. I got a ton of awesome videos on my channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.